Ciao, buongiorno, wherever you are and whatever time it is in the world. Thank you very much for tuning in on what we hope will be the first of many successful editions of the Inter Worldwide podcast. So a little bit of an introduction. Who are we and what are we doing? Hopefully some of you listening have already followed us on Facebook or have seen the website and the YouTube. Basically, we are Inter Worldwide and we have been around for, I'd say, a good year or so. And we're looking to bring you quality English-speaking Inter content and perhaps branch into some other languages as well. So the name Inter Worldwide, we look to give as much authenticity as we can to our name by integrating as many Inter fans around the world. It doesn't matter where you're from. We want to hear your voices and your opinions of our great club that we love so much. I'm joined by two very much valued guests. First being Alessandro. Alessandro, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Very good. Thank you. And another friend of ours, Ian Kerr. Thank you for coming on, mate.
No probs. Thanks for having me. Hope you're well.
Very well. Thanks for asking. We're not going to linger too much on ourselves and what we do. We're going to jump straight into the first show because we've got a lot to talk about and it'll get more positive as the show goes along. So just starting with the slight Sassuolo hangover. I was a little bit more optimistic for this fixture than my friend Alessandro and, my partner and co-founder Samer for Inter Worldwide. They were a little bit more conservative about this fixture, but I truly thought that we were going to break this bogey team and this hoodoo. So I'll start with you, Alessandro. What were your thoughts on the Sassuolo match and did it surprise you?
I have to say I wasn't surprised at all. Honestly, before the game, if you remember, I was saying the score, I was thinking it was probably 1-1 or a loss. So I'm pretty happy we got away with 1 point, if I have to be honest. I hope this is going to be just the first step, and probably next season, if they're still in Serie A, but I'm sure they will, we can get the all 3 points. Other than that, we cannot make it work against them. There is something in our brain. We lack of personality. There was no rhythm. They were way faster than us in every part of the field. So there is very little positive to take after that game, if not the 1 point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the tradition of just Inter things that happen, it would be that Kevin Prince Boateng was suspected to be injured 24 hours before the kickoff, and then he comes and runs the show and earns himself a 31-year-old transfer to Barcelona. That would definitely happen in the same week that we play Sassuolo. Ian, throwing it out to you, what were your thoughts on the match with Sassuolo, and did it leave you quite bitter?
Well, it actually did. I thought it was a disaster, to be fair. And when you think about it, we're at home. We've disappointed 10,000 kids in our own stadium. And we've only managed to pick up 1 point out of 6 against Sassuolo this season. I mean, we had a big win against Napoli on Boxing Day, backed it up with a win against Empoli. A good win in the Italian Cup. And now we have Sassuolo. Poor performance and a tough trip for Torino. It's hard to see things improving for this next match, to be fair.
Torino is probably another side where we'd consider it a bogey side. Very rarely do we play confidently against them and come back with 3 points. And, we really should have had our first 3 points of the season in the round 2 fixture at home, going up 2-0. I have to say I'm not feeling that confident going into the Torino fixture. So, Alessandro, when it comes to Torino this weekend away, what are your thoughts going into this one? Do you see an Inter win, or are we going to see another mediocre, lackluster performance coupled with mental fortitude?
I will surprise you. I actually think we're going to win this game. I honestly don't know why, but I feel like Torino, Mazzari's team right now is not doing well at all. We saw the last game, and I don't think they're gonna perform well against us. So we're in a bad situation right now, but not as bad as Torino, in my opinion. Belotti is a different player from last year. I guess something's going on with Mazzari and the rest of the team. So hopefully this is not the game that he comes back and and get the I don't know, three goals or whatever it's gonna be. I really think we're gonna win like 1-0, maybe something like that. It's not gonna be a good game. It's not gonna be spectacular at all. But again, if we get away with some point, I don't care at this point of the season. I take whatever, honestly.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'm not that confident heading into it, but I have a massive disliking for Matsari. I'm sure you know that, and he tends to have his managerial match of his career against us. It's almost like there's a cup on the line every time he chooses to play Inter, and you can just see the bitterness and the resentment not only in his face but in his body language and his approach to the Inter bench and Spalletti in the last couple of times that they've locked horns with each other. Ian, going into Torino this weekend and, with us still a little bit on edge, what do you think? Do you think that the Ragazzi can turn it around psychologically and put in a big performance for the fans?
I think this is a huge game for Perisic because 2 seasons ago, this very same fixture was the start of his bad performances. So very much he has unfinished business. He needs to sort out at this ground. So I would expect him to be wanting to chomping at the bit to put a wrong right. Could see us nicking it, maybe 1-0 or possible draw. But I'll say now, Handanovic has been very much in form. So with Bellotti not being in fantastic form, I don't think we'll concede.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good bet to say. Look, Skriniar and De Vrij are more than capable at the back. They're our brick wall, and Handanovic has been in great form, as you said again. So I'm not really feeling that threatened by Torino on the attack. I just think our lack of finishing in the final third, once we do get down in the danger areas, could cost us. But, I'm going to go and predict a 1-0 win as well, just because I need to stay optimistic at this time of the season. Can't be going into fixtures expecting us to drop points every single time. Just quickly, before we move on to news headlines and stuff, a little bit of team news going into Torino. The only players that are not fit are Keita Balde and Vershaliko as well. It has surfaced in the last 24 hours that there is another niggling injury, I think, in his hamstring. Now, just quickly before we move on to actual Mercato news and whatnot, Shimi Versalico has definitely not showed us that he is up to fitness. His ability as a right back is much better than Danilo D'Ambrosio. It's a whole class above him. But with a redemption fee set around the 18 to 19 million mark, do you think, I'll start with you, Alessandro, do you think that maybe we need to look for a different option besides Shimi Versalico, or is this the last straw in terms of injuries?
Absolutely. Back last year with Atletico, he was having pretty much the same kind of season. It wasn't 100% committed and fit to Atletico. He had just a very good World Cup, and after that we decided to go and pick it up on loan. It's an improvement, in my opinion, compared to D'Ambrosio, but it's not enough for us. Um, there are not so many players on the market right now, but a solution could be for sure Darmian. Juve if Juve allows that, and that could be also a cheaper option for us. But we certainly need somebody else for next season. I don't think we're gonna spend all the money on Versalico, honestly.
I don't think so either. I think you and I are probably two of the only Inter fans that would actually advocate the move for Darmian. I actually think he's a lot better defensively than D'Ambrosio. What Darmian lacks going forward, I think D'Ambrosio brings a little bit of flair to the right-hand side, but it's still very, very limited. A lot of people go on about D'Ambrosio's pass completion, but you would expect his pass completion to be higher when every pass is in between 4 to 6 yards in a straight line down the right-hand side. So I would actually be all for Darmian coming into Inter. Ian, what are your thoughts on the Vershaliko situation, and do you see Darmian as an adequate replacement to come in?
I'll start. I thought Versalico was a very good signing, and he's definitely a better right back than D'Ambrosio. But we can't be carrying players. We just can't. And if he can't, I still think I don't think a decision will be made in January. I think it'll be made at the end of the season. If he can give us 10, 12 games maybe, where he's fit, I think, depending on them, on how he plays, I think Inter will have something to discuss at the end of the season rather than doing any talks now.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, we've got a full squad to choose from Torino. I would like to see Nainggolan start. I'm just absolutely at my wit's end with these mediocre performances and having him not contribute anything. I know he was brought on as a substitute with, 30 minutes left against Sassuolo, but even then he just looked really out of his depth. He was so easy to contain, and that is not what you expect from Raja Nainggolan for 30 minutes. We understand he's not at full capacity. Alessandro, do you expect the Ninja to start this weekend, or do you think we'll see him eat more bench?
I hope he's gonna start, even if as you were saying, it wasn't like a game changer. He did something in those 30 minutes. He actually provided a nice assist, I think, to Lautaro. That it wasn't converting goal, but he did a little bit better than we saw before the injured. So hopefully he's gonna start this game and prove us all wrong.
I like to hear that. And what about you, Ian? Thoughts on Nainggolan? Does he got to be in the starting lineup if he's at least 75, 80% fit?
I'd say so. With the midfielders we have, Vecino has been an absolute ghost in games. Gagliardini, I don't know what's happened to him. I'd like to see Gagliardini play, but I don't know what the hell's happened to him. The only thing with Nainggolan, I would say, is we need to define what role he's going to play in midfield. Is he going to be a number 10 or is he going to sit him beside Brozovic?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd have to agree, and I guess we'll find out very close to kickoff. I don't know about you guys, but do you think that our team news, our official starting 11, is getting released a little bit later this season than in recent years?
Well, you can pretty much already know what Spalletti is gonna, which player is gonna put on the field. He has a very set 11 in mind, and unless injured, he's going always with the same man. So you know that there's going to be a lot of a little bit of rotation in the back between De Vrij, Miranda, and Skriniar. But then when there is a big game, usually is De Vrij and Skriniar. Icardi is the only striker in midfield. We know that if next to Brozovic, he prefer Vecino when he's not available. He tried to play João Mario, and then Paris is always on the left, and Politano is always on the right. So it's really down to, is Versalico fine? No, then Brazil's playing. Is Keita okay, but probably is going to play the second half and is going to throw Lautaro for the last 10 minutes. It's pretty predictable right now. So, yeah, I don't see any big surprise, honestly, for him. And probably that's also the reason why we have all these mediocre games. I don't feel like the passion. I don't think on the field now there is any form of inspiration, or like we are in a weird situation where we are too far from the first and second spot, and we still have a little bit of cushion from the fourth and fifth place. So we can actually play these kind of stupid games. I don't know how else to describe them, but
yeah.
Hopefully something's gonna change. I don't know. Something needs to be done.
Well, speaking about change, I was For the last 3 days, I've been thinking I thought it'd be a really good idea to get Dalbert in at left back and move Asamoah beside Brozovic as the double pivot, because we've seen that Asamoah can hold it down pretty well as a defensive midfield role. And where players like Vecino and Gagliardini have been lacking this season, I truly believe Asamoah could be an asset to us in that defensive midfield role. And, we've seen D'Ambrosio play on the left as well. So if need be to solidify that midfield with Brozovic, I really don't see why Asamoah is the last choice to chuck in there, but you'd have to ask Emperor Spallo about that. Moving on to transfer news, and we're going to focus on wingers to start this off. So the news in the last 12 hours or so is that Atletico Madrid and Manchester United have been rumored to make another move for Ivan Perisic. Now, it's not that I don't completely believe these rumors, it's just that a lot of these rumors also attach Martial to the deal. Anthony Martial, the winger for Manchester United. Now, we've seen since Jose Mourinho has left Manchester United, Martial is a lot happier. He gets field time. Everybody is buzzing around the club. So I personally don't think Anthony Martial is going anywhere. I would say it's less than a 5% chance he leaves Manchester United. Now there's already talks of a contract extension on the table. And, with the subtle rumors that Jose Mourinho could be looking for a new club and our name chucked in the mix, I really don't think Anthony Martial is going anywhere near Inter, and therefore the Perisic rumours don't have as much substance to me. In terms of Perisic moving for approximately 40 million euro, Ian, do you think there's any substance to these rumours? And if there is, what's your decision? Is it time to part ways with the Croatian?
I do think there's truth in this, because he's been on social media liking their pictures and all that. He said he wanted to move there one day, so I don't think it'll happen now. I think it'll happen in summer. And to be fair, his performances really don't merit staying in the team, to be fair. We should cash in while we still have a high value for him.
Yeah, I would agree. Alessandro, your thoughts on Perisic?
Yeah, probably he's gonna move in the summer. I don't see him moving right now. And if he has to move right now, I don't think Marsha is the right replacement. He likes to play on the wings, but it's a totally different approach. It's more like a forward-minded wing. Let's say it's not coming back to defend as Perisic does. So we should look to a totally different kind of wing. I do like Marshall. Don't get me wrong; is young, and I think he's a very good player. But I see him more like a Keita Balde kind of player. So like almost like a second striker that starts from the left wing and comes inside, but it's not really covering the whole flank like Perisic does. Even though Perisic is not doing the best job in this season, so I wouldn't mind switch Perisic with another player. I think if he wouldn't mind either trying to play in a different team or in a different league completely. I see a little bit hard to do it right now at 7 days from 8 days from the end of the market. But you never know with Marotta and this crazy market. Look at what happened with Boateng. I mean, that was totally out of the blue, and so you never know.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. I would be all for the sale of Ivan Perisic, and hopefully we could squeeze even a little bit more than 40 mil out, because, to be honest, it looks like Monaco, if they don't get relegated, they'll definitely be in one of the bottom places in Liga 1, which means that we might be able to ask for a potential discount on Keita Balde, because 35 million is a little bit excessive. If we can get that to the 30 or 28 mark, I think that would really sanction the sale of Perisic. And then with about 12 million left over from that, we'd only have to put in another 8 to 9 to redeem Politano. So essentially what we'd be doing is selling Ivan Perisic to redeem the rights to two players that can pretty much play his fundamental role, which I would not completely be against, but there is that question to raise about the defensive qualities of those two wingers. Rodrigo De Paul, Udinese winger has not only been linked with Inter, but as I've woken up in Sydney this morning, I have read that we have actually agreed terms with the Udinese winger and the club itself. The fee is somewhere around the 27 to 29 mark. I'm going to confess on air right now, I have not watched an Udinese match all season, apart from the one that we played. And so I'm going to throw it out to Alessandro. Rodrigo De Paul, what do you know about him? What's your opinion on him? And do you think he's what we are looking for as a Perisic replacement?
I don't think he's the perfect Perisic replacement, but I do really like this player so much that at the beginning of the season I bought him in my fantasy soccer team, and is always on the pitch for my selection. So I do like the player. I think it gives something more to the team. He has a very how can I say, a big structure. Physically is a big guy, so that's always good, especially in Serie A. And is fast. He has a good touch, can provide assists and score. So that's definitely a good player to bring in the team.
Yeah, and Ian, have you seen much of Rodrigo De Paul? And if so, what are your thoughts on the Udinese winger?
Well, I haven't really seen that much of him, but I know he's been lighting up the league a wee bit with his performances. But I would just worry in case it's another Ricardo Alvarez. That would be my only. He has all the attributes to do well. It's just doing it week in, week out, every week. Just more consistent.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, if what Alessandro is saying is true and he has got a physically strong structure and he is fast, there's two attributes that Ricardo Alvarez had absolutely none of whatsoever. So let's just hope that you're not wrong there. We're moving on a little bit now to the midfield situation. Now, I'm trying not to get too psyched up or too excited. You know what's coming, but apparently we're front runners for Barella. He's an Inter fan. His favorite player is Dejan Stankovic. Marotta is trying to make it work. Basically, all the right moves are being put into place, and it's all falling into place. Alessandro, do you think we strike a deal for Barella this mercato, or is this something that is going to carry on into the summer before it becomes official?
The sooner the better. This summer there's going to be a lot of competition. The price is going to be higher, but I think we may, at the end of the day, see Barella in Nerazzurro, and that would be awesome. At that point, I'm sorry for Gagliardini, Vecino, whoever is going to leave space for him on the field, but he's young, but at the same time, so mentally old. Like, he has so much experience already, and he can play at a level that it's like just great. So I honestly cannot stretch enough how strong this player is and how much can bring to our team, even though it doesn't have any European experience, but it doesn't look so. I'm sure if he's gonna start playing for us or for any other big team, he is ready. You know, it's like Verratti was for PSG, coming from Pescara. Same situation. Just I hope he's coming to Inter this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ian, Nicola Barella, do you agree? Is he really the best central midfield option in Italy in terms of age and ability correlation? And would he be the perfect signing for us above any other central midfielder?
He definitely gets 2 thumbs up from me. I would definitely take Barella. And like Alessandro said, I'm sorry for Gagliardini or Vecino, but Barella's a better player and a more all-round player as well. He can do the same role as Brozovic. He can sit in deep and pick up the ball, or he can go further forward, as Cagliari have been playing further forward recently. Like, definitely get it done as soon as, because if we wait the summer, it'll be too late. He'll get snapped up by someone else.
Can I add a couple of things?
Of course.
For whoever doesn't know this player, I think he was playing against Lazio or Roma, but watching the game, he was everywhere. It looked like there were like four Barella on the pitch. It's crazy. It can run, it can press, it can wait and steal the ball at the right time and then pass it right away to another player. It's like it's just mentally he's another level. It's like 40 class. I don't know how to translate that, but it's just a champion, and he's I think 21.
Yeah.
So he looks like Cambiaso when it was 34. You know what I mean? He already has so much soccer experience that the 21 years is not the right amount. I don't know how to explain that, but
he's got maturity beyond his years. That's what you're trying to say.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like speaking about soccer, then in private life too, it seems very with a head on their shoulder, like very devoted to the family and professional player, not like somebody else we see around the Pinetina.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've all had to see how much extra work Marcelo Brozovic has had to pick up this season. So signing someone like Barella would almost be a double signing, really, because you'd unleash this other side of Marcelo Brozovic that doesn't need to account for so many of the shortcomings of Matias Vecino and this season Roberto Gagliardini and this season Raja Nainggolan as well. So I guess we all know that Marcelo Brozovic is our unspoken hero of this campaign, and he really does deserve the rest more than anybody, to be honest. Moving along, we're not going to stay on the air for much longer. Just before we move on to our Inter Worldwide Club segment, which I'm very excited for, it'll be my personal favorite segment of the podcast each edition. Just a little bit of a transfer update that doesn't concern Inter. It looks like it is official now that Gonzalo Higuain is going to be playing for Chelsea. I've even seen him holding up a Chelsea jersey, and that's usually when I start to say that it's official. Piatek looks to have landed in Milan and completing his medical. Ian, I'll start with you. Piatek to Milan, a good move for them, yes, but more importantly, how did they get through this financial fair play loophole again?
Well, actually, I've been asking myself the same question and scratching my head how they were able to buy Paqueta, who came at 35 million. Piatek is coming for apparently 35 million plus bonuses, and they've only got 9 million back off the loan deal for Higuain. So, like, I'd like to see UEFA ask some questions about how they're able to even operate.
Yeah, absolutely. Alessandro might be able to give us a little bit more closure, but to be honest, I feel like we've been having this conversation for over a year now. Alessandro, any shed some light on the Piatek deal?
No, absolutely not. I was surprised when they were chatting about this Higuain Piatek was going on. I was like wondering, I was wondering even with Paquetá deal back in our old podcast, what was going on at that point, and now I see this, and I'm just really confused. I think overall, I think it's a good move, at least for Chelsea and Higuain. I don't know if it's the right move for Milan since we saw just half of season of Piatek in Serie A. So it's a little bit risky in my opinion, especially since you're not in the best financial situation. But it's not our team, so they can do whatever they want as long as they have the money of everything is it's approved by UEFA.
Yeah, Absolutely. All right, we are going to move on to our final segment of today's podcast, which is where we touch on the Inter Worldwide Clubs edition. So first, I'm going to throw it out to Alessandro. Can you give our listeners a quick outline of what to expect and what this segment is going to detail, mate?
Okay, so after the Napoli game and all the awful things that happened, I thought that to me it was a no-brainer to start this new section of the website and take after our name, Internazionale. I thought to try and put together interclubs all around the world and see how they live the Serie A soccer and how they follow the team, what Inter means for them. So in the next season, in the next weeks, I'm gonna start to interview each week a different club around the world, different Inter club around the world, and hopefully one representative of that club will be on the podcast as well. I cannot promise that. It's a little bit tricky sometimes connecting people from a different part of the world. So I can't promise that, but for sure we're gonna see the interview on the website.
Absolutely. How good. No, we appreciate your dedication, man, and whatever you can bring us from any clubs around the world would be fantastic and really give the authenticity to our worldwide name. Speaking of Inter Worldwide and having some very special worldwide guests, I was so privileged and honored yesterday to be able to go to a small sporting ground called Bonnyrigg Sports Ground in Western Sydney, where none other than Dejan Deki Stankovic had landed in Sydney yesterday to promote his Deki 5 training camp, which actually looks like a really efficient, productive football camp. He had about 7 or 8 trainers with him who was running the camp for about 200 kids in Sydney, and it really was something special to see. Just quietly, I may have pushed and shoved in front of 200 young Serbian children to get my photo signed and my jersey signed first. But you know what? Only the strong survive. So, Ian, we're talking about Inter clubs, and I know that you have set up the Inter club in Belfast, which is really exciting, and that's on the map now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was me and 2 others, Mark McDermott and Mark Douglas, contacted each other actually through Twitter with the idea to start one in Northern Ireland. And so we put it out there, we advertised. We've got, so far, after all the advertising, it's 26 members, senior members and 2 junior members. And you need 25 to become official. So I'm happy to announce we became official at the end of November last year. And we're currently in the process of, we're getting the banner done. And Inter want us to send them the photo of the banner with a little bios from the club, something similar to what Alessandro's doing. And I just want to say it's a great idea that nobody else is doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, getting to see how people, you know, watch the clubs in their different countries to see if they're any different to how we watch it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. With everyone around the world having to wake up at different times, you can only expect that the mannerisms would be different for all different clubs. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, that's it. It's like it's nighttime here at the minute. I'm in the UK, obviously, in Belfast, and you're in Australia, so it's like morning time where you are.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's what we're trying to bring to our name, as much authenticity as possible, and just to connect all Inter fans around the world, just so we can stick to our traditions and the roots as the international club. Guys, that's all we have time for today. We don't want to keep this podcast going any longer than around the time that we have now each and every edition. So thank you from myself, Anthony, for tuning in on this first pilot edition. We are going to stay as consistent as possible. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our website, YouTube, and Facebook, which is pumping out content on a daily basis for all our brothers of the world. Thank you so much to Ian and to Alessandro for coming on. It was really great to have you both.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to say, if you're part of an Inter club, if you know anybody who is part of an Inter club, please send us an email, a message, pigeon with a message, but whatever. please contact us or send us some question or whatever idea you have to our website. And I hope you come back next week.
Absolutely. And thank you to my friend Ian for joining us. It was really good to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks for letting me plug Inter Club Belfast. Can I add, if anyone's listening in the UK region, like you can get a hold of us through email at interclubbelfast1908@gmail.com. So if you're interested, we'd be happy to have you.
Lovely. Grande ragazzi. Thank you so much. And I will leave this by saying Forza Inter. Ciao.
Ciao.